Well, good afternoon, everyone. How are you all doing today? This is Terry from Christ the Healer Gospel Church, and I'm with Judy Mizu today. And I should say, I got to correct myself and say Judy Mizu Claire. And recently, Judy got married, and it's an exciting time in her life. But before that, she wrote a book, and it's entitled "Because You Prayed." and it's heart cry for the destiny of a loved one. So Judy, how are you doing today?
I'm really good, thank you.
Yeah, and
Yes.
exciting time in your life.
It's a very exciting time.
Yeah,
Yes.
married just recently,
Yes.
and I'm excited for you too. And you can see that I can see the excitement in your face also. But the book, I read your book before it came out. I did one of the endorsements, I guess is what they're called. And so, how did the book come about?
Oh, okay. Well, Justin, my son, was addicted to crystal meth, and through those years as a teenager and into young adulthood, I cried out to God and had lots of people praying because we were in part of a church, and lots of family, lots of support. But as you know, you have time just with yourself and with God. And I read the Bible, and just different scriptures would come out and speak to me, and I wrote them down. I'm not a journaler or a writer, but at that time, it just helped to write it down. I wrote out my prayers for Justin out of those scriptures, and then said some decrees and promises of God, and just to hang on to His word. And so through that time, I wrote it all down, and the miraculous thing was Justin, God saved, delivered, set free my son, and he's now just free of drugs, and just doing what God has called him to do and what I always knew God had gifted him to do and called him to do, and even more than I even thought was possible and had thought at the time that I was praying. So with the book, after all that happened, I just put my journal aside and never thought about it. But people, when they heard Justin's story and they met me, they would say, you should write a book. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking, I have nothing to write. I always thought it was Justin's story to tell. I had a part of it, but it's really that part of it was his. I didn't think I had anything to really bring into it other than because when you hear Justin's story and see him, it kind of speaks for itself. And I thought, well, what do I have that would make a book? And so it never really came together. And but I had this journal, and I'd forgotten about it. And so I moved to Saskatoon 3 years ago. And 2 years ago in January, a young fellow came to this church, Christ the Healer Gospel Church, and his name was Carter Johnson. And he said, could I pray for you? And I said, sure, yes. He's a great young man, and I knew he had good things to pray, and he gave me a word, and he said, I really think you should write a book. And I had people telling me, like I said before, never thought of it, and so I thought, yeah, I've heard that before. But he also went on to say that we have a story, and it's not unique in the story of Justin's drug addiction and what we went through as a family, but it is unique with the outcome, and that it would give people hope and encouragement, and he just thought it would be good. And so then he prayed for me. And again, I just kind of put it aside. But within that month, I came across my journal just through unpacking and going through different things. And I looked at it, and I thought, this is my book. So I started writing it. And then I got stuck. And I reached out to an author that Justin met through Teen Challenge, and I had met. And she had written a book that we were familiar with, and so I reached out to her just to see if she could help me out, and she gave me some really good tips. She thought it should be a daily devotional, and gave me some, so it was really, gave me that, so I went further with it into the summer, and then I got stuck again, and then I was reading a book by Peggy Kennedy, and she's a traveling minister and speaker, and an author, and I just emailed her one day and said, I'm writing this book, and I'm just wondering if you could help me, because her book was kind of like written as a devotional, and I thought she maybe could give me some tips. And I'd met her. She had spoken and prayed for me years and years ago. So all these connections were kind of coming together in different parts throughout this process. And she said, I'm just finishing editing my a third book for somebody, and I would be willing to look at yours and come alongside you if that's what we kind of choose and come to agreement with. And so that's what we did. We started, it was pretty much a year-long process of, just going back and forth and some Zoom time calls, and then connected with Word Alive Press, who did the publishing and did the cover, and there it is today.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the timeline, like when Justin started on this journey that he got onto the wrong path, how old was he when
He was 16.
16 years old?
Yeah.
And so I met you in '05, and at the Teen Challenge graduation. So that's quite a few years ago already.
Yes.
And
yes.
and I remember seeing you at the graduation, and you had really looked like you'd been through a war, like you're run down. And I see you today, you look like 15 years younger than you did back in 2005. So God has done a really amazing work.
Yes.
So the book is a devotional, and what was your goal? What is your goal for the book, and what to accomplish?
Really, it was just to give people hope of the outcome. So this beginning is just a little part of the story, just a summary, and then the 30 days of prayer, which I kind of just brought in 30. There was more, but they weren't really complete with the prayer and the scripture and then the decrees. So we just kind of just picked 30. And through that process, God really did reveal himself to me. So I gave them titles to each day. God is faithful. God is loving. God is, a promise keeper. All those things that God is. And that's through this time with Justin, God really revealed to me who he was. And so my hope is that people really get to know God and know that they can go to the Word, and those scriptures are personal to them. And they can find out for themselves. So these are just the ones that God gave me that can help others, hopefully, and encourage them. But also they can go to the Bible, the Word of God, for themselves, and God will speak to them in their time of need as well. Wow. And I'm confident of that.
Amen.
That's how he works.
I read the book, and I think it's going to help a lot of people, and not only with their own personal struggles that they're going through because they have a child that's wayward or whatever, but what it's going to do for their children. When you learn how to pray and learn how to seek the Lord and connect with God, he can change situations, and obviously he changed your situation. As we now know, he's our worship leader. He's my son-in-law, and I've known him for quite a while now. Well, since '05, and just really, it's been a privilege to see the progress in his life. And so anyway, it's awesome. I think you did a great job of the book. You did a great job of explaining your situation, what you went through, and what he went through. And it's a powerful book. So this coming Friday, May 6th at 7 p.m., we're at Christ the Healer Gospel Church in the hall for a book signing and a coffee night. So are you excited about that?
I'm very excited about that. Just getting, people out there and, just being able to talk more about God's goodness, really, is that.
Yes. So there'll be lots of copies of the book here. It's because you prayed, and you really, really need to come out and be a part of this evening. It's going to be a great night at fellowship.
Yes.
Awesome. It always is good to be together. But that's Friday, May 6th at 7 p.m. And Judy Mizu Claire will be signing these books as people purchase them. And how much is it for a book?
$15 a book.
$15 a book. So that's a good deal, really good deal. It's a life-changing type book. And we'd love to have you come and join us.
Yes.
Be a part of what God is doing in the life of Judy and Justin, and just you can experience some, I think it's a book that's going to give you a lot of hope. If you got people that are struggling, it's going to give you hope, no question about it. And but anyway, thank you, Judy. And so that's Friday, May 6th. That's this coming Friday at 7 p.m. at Christ the Healer Gospel Church. So you can come and drop by for a coffee. We're going to have some good coffee here, and grab a book, and Judy will sign it for you and help you. It's going to help you. So anyway, and if you know somebody that's struggling, you can get a book for them too, and share it with somebody that's really going through some tough times in life. But anyway, thank you, Judy, and I look forward. Thank you for the book. It's been awesome, and look forward to seeing what this is going to bring in years to come. And it's amazing that this whole story started a long time ago. So he was 16, so it was like 2003 or so when this whole journey started, and has come to this right now. So, wow, amazing story. Thank you, Judy. God bless you really good.
Thank you.
And we'll see you Friday night.
Yes, see you Friday night, and hope to see you guys there as well.
Amen. Come on, come all.